Okay, so let's get my tools ready. All right, is my audio working correctly? Testing, testing. Yes, it is. Okay, how's my settings in here? Should be checking my settings. Okay, yeah, -40, that's where we want that. Okay. Okay, so we need to get my launcher open. 9 minutes and then we are going to be live. 9 minutes to be live. Okay, we need to also open up KDen Live. And it might help if I provide the link to FFmpeg. So we should do that and have that ready to go. All right. And it is, which one is it? This one, I believe. Deviant. Okay, and then I should also have my installed directory. Leave that window open. I need my KDen Live directory right there. What else do I need? Yeah, because I've got to show where you replace those. We're going to show the settings there. We're going to show the editing. I think that's everything I need. And we're going to load up a file that we're working on so that we can go over some of this stuff. Okay, and have this ready to go. How far back do I want to scroll, or do I want to just maybe do a live edit on camera? Can I concentrate and do both is the next question. I have absolutely no idea. Okay, so this is ready to go. I've got my settings ready to go. The only other thing would be to show where the mods, but I think they know how to install mods. I don't think I need to go over all of that. Okay, 7 minutes. All right, what else? Anything else I need to talk about? Oh, I want that profile setting. But where did I hide it? Where did I hide it? Could be on my library. We want to leave this open, so let's go to my library and see if it's in there. That happens when you get a slow drive. Okay, what do we got? Best time to upload. Yeah, that should be another thing I should probably share as well. How good is this? Does this have the good information? I believe this is it, and it's actually, that's Eastern Standard Time, so I have to convert it. Make sure that everybody has that information as well. Okay, that's not any good. That's the one I'm accustomed to using. Okay, and then the last thing will be, I don't know if I can find it. I had a YouTube profiles link, and I don't know where that went. I don't know. I don't remember where I put it. Try to find it on the internet real quick. I have 4 minutes remaining. Maybe I can find it this way. Maybe not. It was on that code repository site. Let's try KDen Live YouTube profile. See if that will find it. Cannot type today. Do not know how to type. I don't think that's it, but let's take a look at it because that's interesting. All right, so I won't be able to give them a link to that because I don't know how long it's going to take me to find that again. I thought I had the link where I could get to it, but it's not showing right now. I do not like Google search. It does not work very well anymore. I'll try to find a link and share that later. What is this? Okay, I will set this aside to look at later. We should be about time to start. How many more things do I've got to minimize? All right. Yeah, we need that. Okay, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to start. One more hope I have. Let's see if I kept it in my book of marks. Now, there should be a way for me to search my book of marks. Well, look at that. I have a brain. What do you know? I am as surprised as anybody else. Okay, so that's ready to go. And we have 2 minutes to go. Okay. All right. What is anybody saying over here? Nobody's saying anything over here yet. Okay. Now, where's my overlays? Was it Control M for the over or Control O or Control L? What did I even do? Overlays, where are you? Where are my settings for my overlays? There we go. Doobies. Game overlay, I don't think that we want the keys to it. We want the key, shortcut keys, hotkeys. Shift O and Shift P. So if I press Shift O, do I have a chat box? I do. Cool. Alrighty. And I guess I leave it right where I guess Shift P to position it. Okay, I got you. Okay, so Shift P. If I wanted to change where it's located. I don't think I do. I think I'll leave it right where it is. Can I type? Alright. Why is it saying message to ME6? I'm trying to type in my... Is that doing that through Discord? I don't know. Why is it doing that? I can't talk. I can only see people talking. And there's Mime Chat. Mind Chat. Okay. Well, I don't know anything about any of this. And I'm not even seeing anything in here. It says there's people in here. I don't see anybody. What am I looking at here? I don't know. Okay, well, we need to get started. So we'll do a Shift P because this is kind of in the way. I want to put you maybe over here for now. Okay, and then Shift P. We're out of position mode. Shift O, and it is now overlaid. But apparently I cannot say anything. I try, and it doesn't let me do anything. I can't click on it or do anything. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'm supposed to go somewhere else. Welcome to live chat. Remember, why is this thing always showing up here? How do I get rid of this stupid box? I don't want that box. Anyway, I guess this will show the chat on the stream. Oh, I bet you I have to go to my actual... Okay, this is probably where I have to go. Yes, this is it. Okay, hi everyone. However many 2 or 3 people are actually watching. Is this actually live? Why is it? Okay, because that's my desktop. Okay. But this isn't updating. There it is. Hey, it works. Okay, I need to do a Shift P again, because that's blocking my ability to get into my window controls. I don't like that. Shift P, Shift O, and we're good. Okay, we are starting, and I'm a minute or two late. So, hello, all 1 or 2 people that are tuned in right now, and welcome to DB's Sunday stream. Please let me know if there are any things that are not working correctly, because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Okay, maybe that's not entirely true. I do know what I'm doing, sort of. But anyway, what we're going to do in this live stream is I'm going to show you guys the various configuration, setup, and workflow that I use to create videos for Minecraft. And the reasoning for this is some of you, you know who you are trying to run Minecraft on a laptop with integrated graphics. And I tried that, and it doesn't work very well. But you may not have the budget to do a little bit better. So I'm going to show you some settings that will help, and I'm going to show you how I run things on my gaming computer, which is starting to get a little chuggy on running Minecraft 1.18. Minecraft has, I know they say they only use 2 gigabytes of RAM, but I don't think that's strictly true anymore, because Minecraft has gotten a lot chuggier since 1.17.1 and into 1.18. It runs a lot slower. So these settings should help you a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out another screen recorder that I can recommend. Right now, I'm still using Streamlabs OBS and OBS. My computer can still handle it. The first tip that I would give people that are trying to run Minecraft on a laptop, especially with an integrated graphics, not cards, but they're integrated into the CPU, so they use the RAM. So what you need to do is you got to beg, borrow, or steal, add to your Amazon wish list, do whatever you got to do, but you got to get your RAM upgrade. You got to find out exactly what kind of RAM you can have in your laptop. You got to make sure that you can actually get to your RAM so that you can put in the new RAM if you haven't already, if it isn't already fully as high as it can be. You got to check that too. Find out how much you can put in, and then if it's not fully up to that level, you need to get yourself a set. You want a matching set, so 2 sticks. Unless you're able to do it all on 1 stick, it might be better if you can do it on 1 stick. Do not go past the max, either on 1 stick or 2 sticks, but upgrade that RAM. Get the fastest. You want the clock speed, and you want the right type. I don't know if I can demonstrate that over here on the screen, but if I go to Newegg, I recently had to upgrade the RAM for my laptop as well, and I just go to Newegg, but the return policy used to be abysmal. It might still be abysmal, but generally you're looking for this, I think it's a 260 pin. It might be a 288 pin. I think it's generally a 260 pin. It looks like this. You're going to be looking for this kind of RAM, and you're going to want to get the maximum amount of RAM that you can get. Mushkin is a good brand if you can get a hold of it. Crucial is okay. Get one of the gaming RAM that you would see for a normal PC, like if you can find who does the rip jaws? Can't remember who does the rip jaws, but try to avoid these oddball like ATEC and Micron, and they might be okay, but try to get something that people that do gaming RAM would be making. That's going to do a lot better for you. See if I can find an example here. So far, all I'm seeing is those. I think Corsair, if they even do it. I don't even know if they do laptop RAM. Crucial is good, as I said. Anyway, find yourself the maximum amount of that you can get. Find yourself the speed, which is this. Let's see, this number right here. See how this says 1066? You want to find the highest number of that megahertz that you can get your hands on. You want the highest number of this that you can get your hands on. You have to do a little research and find out what your laptop will take. I'm not finding that other brand, but they do make RAM, the ones that does the rip jaws, and I don't know why I can't remember the name of it right now. My mind is completely blank. But look for that and get that RAM upgrade. That's the first step if you have an integrated graphics card. Your next step after you have upgraded the RAM is, if you have the funds, get yourself an external USB. They have different names for it. I just call it a screen recorder. But there are these devices that you plug into the USB or the HDMI or however they work, and they allow you to capture the screen on your device. That will ease the wear and tear on your system. And also, if you can't do that, at the very least, upgrade your RAM and get yourself a cooling pad. You want a laptop cooling pad that'll fit your laptop, because laptops aren't made for running games. They're going to get very hot, especially running a game like Minecraft. So you want to have a cooling pad to help draw that heat away from the laptop and allow it to be more stable and to run better. And I could show you, if I had a camera available on access here, what it looks like when you have insufficient cooling on something that's been running really hot. It actually can warp your laptop. So you can imagine that that's not going to give you very good system performance if you're running like that. So if you're running integrated, that's what you're dealing with. If you can upgrade your laptop, then do so. If you get one with discrete graphics, if you can, get one released within the last 5 years, if you can. Gaming laptop released within the last 5 years actually should work good for game, but gaming laptops released more than 5 years ago aren't really, even though they say they're gaming laptops, they're not really that good for games. Your best bet is to build your own computer if you have the money, but you got to have a good budget. With a video card shortage still going on right now, you're going to be at least $1,000 to $2,000. You have to budget just to fight to get yourself a decent video card, which is ridiculous. But you don't want to skimp on that. You want to get one of the RTX ones if you can, and if you can't, you want to go no lower than like a GTX 1650 or 1660. So that's enough of that technical jargon there. But yeah, if you're trying to run integrated graphics, first upgrade is going to be your RAM. And then also a laptop cooling pad if you can. And then if you have the funds, get an Elgato or something of that nature device that will record the screen. They have some 4K, 1080p, 60 hertz, different ones like that that you can get your hands on. So your next thing that you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to go into your Minecraft launcher. This is the normal launcher, the vanilla launcher, whatever they call it. I only know my way around this one. You'll have to do it for your own launcher if you use a different one. But go into your, I'm using Fabric right now because I have Optifine, Optifabric, all of that installed. And that's what I run. That's how I do my videos. So go to your options over here and go to Edit. And right here under the More Options, you're going to want to add. Now, this might just be a placebo. It might not actually do anything anymore. Maybe they've phased it out. I don't know. But they always seem to have just the XMX. And then it usually has a 1G or a 2G. You want to have that to be about half your RAM. So I have mine to 4G. I don't think you need to make it any bigger than 8G. So if you have 32 gigabytes of RAM in your computer, you probably won't need higher than 8G. Probably 4G will even be fine. But I would say up to 8G, put that in there, half your RAM, or up to 8G. So in my case, I've got 4G on XMX, and then I add the minus, I do a space, and then a minus XMS 4G, I add that. And for me, I think it makes it run better. Maybe it's a placebo thing. Maybe it doesn't actually do anything. There were other commands you could add here before, but they don't work anymore. These are the only two that I know that work and won't crash out your system. But that will help you right there. Set both of them to the same value. And then you can run your Minecraft game. So for recording, I use OBS, which is down here. You can see the icon. There are a few things in OBS, I should have this open and ready to go, that you're going to want to check. So when you get into OBS, you want to make sure that you've got your source, which would be your Minecraft game. If you need help going over how to create any of the sources here, let me know. Like if you don't know how to add a source or what any of the basics, I can do another video on that later. But I'm going to assume that you know your way around OBS enough to be able to do that. You're going to want to add your source. Now, they say that you should stick to 60 frame a second on your video. That's over here under video. Stick with 60 here. One person I know is trying to do 1280 by 720 and they want 30, so you'd change that here. Make sure that the output and the base value are the same. I don't know why, but I ran across a problem with this where the scale was different. I wasn't getting the proper resolution. So make these values the same because you're not really going to be scaling. But for whatever silly reason, you have to make sure that they're the same value so it doesn't try to scale. I'm not entirely sure why that is, and I don't understand everything about that. But under your audio, you're going to want your audio devices. I have my hertz rate here to 48. You can go to 44.1 or 48, but I wouldn't go lower than that. And then there's some settings you can mess with here. I have in the past, but I don't think I'm messing with them now. Under your output, you're going to want to use your video card if it has the ability to record. So in my case, I've got an NVIDIA video card that has the NVENC. So I've set the container to Matroska. I've got my video bit rate to 10,000, which matches my profile, which I'll show you guys in a second. And I tested, and this was the one that seemed to provide the best speed and stuff for a video for my hardware encoding. So that's what I use. And then in audio, I set these all to 320. I don't keep it any lower than that. Those are the main things. You're going to want to mess with your hotkeys and stuff of that nature as well. And you can go live in OBS. You don't have to have OBS and Streamlabs. I chose to do OBS and Streamlabs. I did do my first live stream on OBS, but Streamlabs is more specialized for that. So those are my recording options. And when I'm ready to record, I just press start recording. But I don't press start recording until I have actually loaded up Minecraft. So first I come into Minecraft, I hit play, I wait for it to load up, I get into my server or my single player world, and once everything is loaded, then I hit record. If you try to hit record before then, at least my experience is it makes things slow down. And you can't use all that stuff anyway, so might as well just start recording from where you're going to be starting to play. So that's how I handle it. I use an Alt Tab and just come back into here. You can use hotkeys. I just use Alt Tab. It just works better for me. And then you record your video. Now, once you have your video recorded, make sure that you have enough room on your system. If you go into your system, like I can show you mine really quick. If I take a look, this is where my videos are dropped. I'm going to have a hard time recording, like, for example, this live stream because I've only got 10 gigs room here. So I'm running out of space on my computer. But make sure you've got enough room there. You need enough room here for it. And you need enough room wherever it is you have a Kdenlive installed. You see I have 12 there. So it's going to be hard for me to edit a very long video because Kdenlive has to create something called proxies. And those take up a lot of room. So make sure you got enough space. Do your video. Once you're done recording, I use Kdenlive. You might choose a different program. But if you're using Kdenlive, you come in here, you drop your video clips into here, then you right click on them, and you go to checking this proxy clip. Now, you might have to change something first before you can do that. If you go here to configure Kdenlive, you might need to go in here to the project defaults, figure out what your default is. In my case, it's HD 1080p 60 frame. And then I have 2 video tracks and 3 audio, so that allows me to add my music tracks. And then there's somewhere around here, you got to check this option to allow it to use proxy clips right here. Under proxy clips, you want to make sure that this enable proxy clips is checked. Now, I have a specialized profile because I have been struggling with this, trying to get this silly thing to work. Which one of these? So all this is a VF scale 480, and then all of this stuff here. This is the hardware encoder that is using video bitrate to match 10,000, encoder AC3, audio bitrate 320. That's all I have here on this. Now that's why there's this specialized profile. You just go to add here if you want to add it, because otherwise I get too grainy, too much delay, and I can't do anything with my Kdenlive is the best editor I've used, but it is so finicky and there's so many problems with it that I have that I don't even know how to even start. I can't recommend a different program because I don't know of anything better. I've tried other ones that are free, and this is the best that I could get. And this is an open source free program, by the way. So anyway, make sure enable proxy clips is there. You can change your profile if you need to. Leave stuff by default initially. Then you can check your video files and put on a proxy clip. But what that's going to do is if these files, when they capture, especially if they're done with a hardware encoder, they're going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 gigs a piece. So when it creates a proxy clip, it's going to be somewhere in that range. So you've got to have a lot of space. Those proxy clips are going to be put over here in your Kdenlive cache folder under proxy. And you can delete these after you have done your video to make yourself a little more room. I just go by date modified and I delete the older ones that, like these ones here, I could delete if I need a little more space. Because the other stuff I'm still working on, and that's stuff I want to keep a hold of. It also creates these cache files. You can clear these occasionally, but they don't take up much room. But just be aware of that. You can add your video clips, turn them into proxies. You can add your audio clips by dragging them in there. You can also add title clips simply by, what is that, right click and then go to add title clip. And then you can add title clips like this little text thing here that I added, some minor changes later. And you can change the length up here. You can center it or position it here. Of course, make sure that the text is highlighted. There's a little red box around it. When you've highlighted it, you can change your size, your font, all that kind of stuff is all in here. You can even give it a typewriter effect if you want. Update title when you're done making your changes. But that's how you add text overlay to put something on the screen so that you can give a little message as you're transitioning or doing something in the video. All I do for the video editing is I just sit here and I watch it through. So if I press play on it, I don't find much colon savannas. But see, now I've got this big space where all I'm doing in here is I'm just walking along. And obviously, very few people are going to want to watch me trudging along through the terrain. So I just go up here to where I recognize this is my audio track for my voice. This is the track for the game. I go here and I just take this and I drag it up to where I've placed the line, pull this over, and now I've gotten rid of that extra space. I don't find much colon savannas, but another cave I can't explore. Now this trailing butt here, I might get rid of that because I don't quite like how that doesn't really transition between the two. But I use these audio peaks to figure out where I'm going to cut, what I'm going to do, like right here. I might take and use in between these, and you start to identify like what different audio peaks are within the game, what they are within your voice. And I use those to help me guide where I'm going to put my cuts and match them together. And I just basically, I try to cut out what you're doing when you're making a video is you got a block of stone and you're trying to find the statue inside it. So you got to do a rough cut, the rough shape of whatever it is that you're trying to make first. And then you got to do some finer edits. I generally keep my cuts kind of rough. I prefer not to spend a huge amount of time, but I could spend like a week or two on every video and do fine detail work if I wanted to. But that's basically what you're doing. You're cutting out all the stuff that doesn't go with the story. In a video, you're really telling a story. You want to cut out all the parts that are not telling the story that you want to tell. The story of this particular video here is I have made my nether portal, and that's at the beginning of the video. And now I'm going to create my nether access point. But before I did that, I wanted to show everybody and myself around the island, both the island that I'm currently have my base on and the island next door. So we're doing a little bit of an exploratory mission, and if there's anything interesting or any highlights I want to showcase that. Everything else I'm going to kind of go through. And then if I get up to where I'm mining, or if there's something important that I'm mining, or if there's a fight or whatever, I will have that in there. If it's mining, I'll fast forward it. When I fast forward, all I do is I'll show you an example. I cut the audio out of it. So I ungroup it and then I take the audio out. So you see right here, this had audio originally. I ungrouped it by right clicking and going to ungroup. And then once it was ungrouped, I deleted by pressing shift so I can select multiple things to delete. So it's not control click like you'd expect, it's shift click. So I pressed and held shift and I clicked on the audio tracks of the parts that I wanted to remove. And then I took each video track and I right clicked on it. I went to change speed and I changed my speed. I used 400. That was the speed I determined to be the best speed for a part where I'm building or where I'm mining or something of that nature. So that's what I've done. And then I try to find a audio track, a music file that will fit in there. Now I like to use Netflix lately, but Netflix wouldn't work here because every track that I was thinking of using was too long and it starts overriding the intro, which is over here. I'm doing the intro a little bit different in this one. I got this preamble pre-material first, and then I've got the intro. So I found this track here. I use the YouTube Studio, what they have available for you. I have this Bad Man Tings Raiding Conrad Old Monkey, and I have that here. And you see that I have a cut here. And what I've done is I figured out where I want to place this audio, and I've positioned it such that at this quiet point here, the audio comes in. And then when I'm talking, I take my gain, I do a volume keyframeable, so that's here, insert an effect, volume keyframeable. I do a -20 typically for where I'm talking, or a -24 depending on how loud the track is, and I can tell by the peaks here. But I do a -20 or 24 so it doesn't overwhelm my talking. But then when I get in over here to where I'm going to be doing the digging or the whatever, I can then go a little louder. So I do like a -12 or whatever. And I use the audio peaks within the music to cut, to figure out where I want to cut. If I drill down here on this track, so I can zoom in and out over here. And I haven't learned really to do it by habit, but you can also do it by dragging over here on this scroll bar. But you see, I have this where it goes down and then it comes back up. And I've cut right at the end of that down part. So when it gets louder here, it's right when it starts to go up. I just kind of match it in like that. And I do the same thing over here where it's going down before it has a part that goes up. As it's going down, I have it getting quiet right here. Excuse me a second. Now, to find a music track, I don't just randomly plop music tracks in there. I'm looking for a length that will fit where I want it to fit. I'm looking for something like if it's Netflix and it has a lot of talking and rapping, I want to make sure I have a long enough space where I don't interrupt his lyrics, or I interrupt his lyrics as little as possible. Otherwise, I want something that's going to be more like background music. So that's what I'm doing here. I've got this background music because it was the only thing that would fit. But then I also look on top of all of that, and it's not as important as the other parts. The other parts I always have to look at first. But the next thing I'm looking at is the feel and the mood. What is the feel and the mood here? So if I press play on this, I thought this really fit really well because it's me in this kind of a jungle area and I'm building this thing and it kind of has a bit of a sense of humor to the sound of it. And it actually, sometimes I find that it matches, like parts where I'm placing blocks and stuff match the beat. And I don't do that intentionally. It just happens as a byproduct of figuring out what the mood is and where I'm going to cut it and the audio peaks. So that's how I do that. So when I am done with my file, this is the one that I'm currently working on. This will be Monday's release. When I am done with it, I'm going to want to render this out. So if I go up here to project and I go up here to render, you see that I have added a profile here called YouTube 1080p 60 frame a second. Well, that corresponds to this here. Soon Vilda Hayden Live profiles over on GitHub. I will try to put a link in the description to this, or maybe I can put it in the text box for the chat. Let's see if I can do that. I've never tried this, so let's see if I can add this to the chat for you. Oh, it had a P on there from Let's see. Does that work? Can I put a link in there? It should show up over here in a second. Anyway, this thing here has some various profiles that you can use, and the one that I have used here is this, I believe this audio stereo. These settings are optimized for YouTube and your render profile for Kdenlive, but I have been getting, after it renders, melt crashes, and then Kdenlive crashes when I close out the program, but I still get my video file. But these are the settings right here you can read, and if I go here to edit, it's kind of hard to read them. There's really small text and everything, but these are the settings that I use for my render. And you'll notice that I have the 10,000 here, matching it again, trying to keep that consistent bit rate so that I have that good quality going on here. The audio rate is 4,800 hertz, 320K. Got my hardware encoder right there. So that's how I do that. I render it out, render the file, and because it's a hardware encoder, it doesn't take very long. I get like I can have a half-hour video in a half hour or less. Otherwise, it could take all day or all night for it to render, and that's just terrible. So that's my first hint to you. If you're going to build yourself a gaming computer and you're going to want to do recording and editing of videos, get yourself something with the hardware encoder. I don't know if the screen capturing devices you can hook up externally have hardware encoder or access to hardware encoding, but look for that if they do, because you're going to want that hardware encoding because it's going to save you a huge amount of time. And I really mean a huge amount of time. So you're going to want that. So that's how I render it out. Then I upload it to YouTube. Then I put in the description, of course, the title. The title I just come up with. Usually it's snatches of song lyrics with my own little twist or pun in it, or a movie title, or a phrase from a movie, or something of that nature. Whatever seems to fit what the video is going to be, that's what I usually end up doing. Occasionally, OBS is going to screw up. And I don't know why it does, and I don't understand how it does, and I don't understand the issue with it. But you'll put a video in here, and I don't know if it's just Kdenlive can't understand it, and OBS is perfectly fine, but I just think of it as OBS has done something wrong. But you put the video in here, and the audio won't line up, things don't match the peaks, just nothing works. For that, I have something I found called Shutter Encoder. I don't know where the link to that is. Hold on a minute. Okay, so here is Shutter Encoder. And I'll put a link over here for you. And what this does is this program has hardware encoding in it. I do not want to do that right now. I'll do that later. You can drag your video file in here, but this will actually correct your video file issue. Don't ask me how it works. I have absolutely no idea, but I've used it whenever I've had an issue with a video file, an audio file being wrong, what have you. I've been able to drag it into here, convert it, and it comes out fine. It somehow finds a way to fix the issue. I don't know how it does it. I wish I knew the magic behind it. But let's drop a file in here as if this was a file that I was having problems with. And what we do is we go in here to the H.265. That's the hardware encoding. Well, I think you can do 264 hardware encoding as well, but you want to match your bit rate and all of that stuff here. So this is a 10,000. We know that. We know the audio is 320. And then I do max quality. But then here in the audio settings, you have to make sure to set this to multi. And then AC3 seems to be the one that works the best right here. And then under advanced features, you want your hardware encoding enabled. It takes a second to select that. You won't be able to do that if you don't have a hardware encoder video card that supports hardware encoding. But if you have a video card that supports hardware encoding, and I encourage you to set up either a video card or a recorder that has that, then you can use that because it's going to save you a lot of time. And now I could come in here to start function. And this takes maybe a half hour. maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on the size of the file, but it's worth it. When it gets done, I drag it into Kdenlive, the problem's gone. So this is the magic here. If you have a file captured in OBS, it somehow is screwed up and it's not coming into your video editor correctly. And you might even be able to use this to make a file that you've captured through OBS or Streamlabs or whatever. You might be able to use this to make it more compatible with your current system. Oh, don't forget to change this if it ups it when you go to AC3. It might change this to another number, so you want to go back to 320. I don't think it'd be a good idea to make it go higher than the 320 capture that you can do, so that's probably where I would have that. Okay, I cannot think, was there anything else? Oh, yes, there is one other thing we need to go over, and we're going to wrap this up. This will hopefully be a pretty short live stream. It doesn't look like I had much of an audience, but that's okay. That's all right. This video will still exist for anybody that can use it. Over here in bin in your Kdenlive install, in my case, I have installed programs. You might have it in C programs, x86, or C programs, but wherever it is, go to bin. You'll notice that in here in bin, you've got this FFmpeg, FFplay, FFprobe. If you go over here to builds from Goin.dev, FFmpeg builds, this is the one you want. I'll put a link in there for you. So you go here, you ignore this, and you go to release builds. You can do full or full shared. They said that you're supposed to use shared in one tutorial that I read. I've used both. I think full works better, but go with whichever one you want to try. Maybe I'll try shared to see if that melt executable crash stops. But you download this and you extract it, and when you extract it, what you get, in this case, I have this full build here. What you get is these 3 files, but these are a different date. And these have more of the features, more of the support. You want to update that. So you copy those over into and you overwrite the ones that are here in Kdenlive. And that will help your FFmpeg stuff work a little bit better. Now, you might try first with what they have included by default before you do this. And if it's working for you, leave it alone. Don't fix it if it ain't broken, right? But if it's not working, you need those features, you copy it over, and that's how you handle that. And then make sure that over here in Kdenlive, you've gone to settings and you've gone to run config wizard, and you've checked this and checked hardware acceleration. And it will tell you if it finds your hardware encoder, and then everything here is done, and you press OK. You want to make sure you have that going for your hardware encoding. So make sure that that's there if you have a hardware encoder. If you have any questions about any of this, just be sure to let me know, and I will try to help you to the best of my ability. Now, when I have a video that's rendered out and I want to upload it, I need to know what time to do so. According to this chart, and you'll find this in various places, these are the ideal YouTube upload times in Eastern Standard Time. So it's 3 hours behind for my time, which is Pacific. But for me, it would be like 11, I think, to 1, 11 to 1, 11 to 1, and then 9 to 1, or 9 to 12, I think, something like that. Anyway, you can find a chart that'll convert it for you on the internet. But try to submit your videos at the beginning of these time slots, because everybody else is trying to do it at the exact same time. So you want to make sure, sometimes you might even do it like 15 minutes before. That'll help it to process and be uploaded between this time slot. And I recommend that approach sometimes, 10 to 15 minutes before. But do that, and now you can have that processed and ready to go within that ideal time frame, and that should get you more views on your video. So this is another little trick to understand with YouTube. There are two main tricks, I guess you'd call them. They're not really tricks, they're more like good practices for YouTube. This is one of them, and the other one is the shorter your videos are. If somebody comes in for 3 seconds and watches 3 seconds of a 30-minute video, you don't get a very good view time on that. But if they watch 3 seconds of a 3-minute video, you get a really good view time on that, or at least better than the other one. You can't really expect that people are going to stick to your watching your whole video. So if you keep your videos within the 10 to 30-minute range, you're going to get better view time on those videos because most viewers are only going to stay there up to about 1 to 2 minutes, generally speaking. There'll be a few that'll watch it all the way through, but you want to capture that good view time, so you want a good ratio there. So you want to keep your videos relatively short. Really long videos, like 2 or 3 hours at a time, you're never going to get a very good view count on it unless you're super entertaining and engaging and people are glued to the screen for that entire period of time. So those are the two practices that I would recommend: your upload time and the length. So these really long 1 to 2 hour live streams that even I myself have been doing aren't going to help you very well in the end. I think that is everything. I think. I don't think I've left anything out. If I have, be sure to comment below this video and let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. This is not meant to be a tutorial on how to use Kdenlive, but hopefully it shows you some of the general editing principles that you're going to need. Not all video, these are called a nonlinear editor. Not all of the NLEs or nonlinear editors like this are going to have the audio forms. That's one of the hiccups that I found trying to find an editor that I could use, because I need that to track where I'm going to cut. Some will not have that. But in general, if you have a nonlinear editor that has these kind of forms available, then you can view them, or you can find a plugin to give them to you. That is a general process that should be applicable to whatever editor you use. I try to stick with free or open source software. Shutter Encoder is free or open source. This is free and open source. This actually works better in Linux, and you can actually do a better job of recording Minecraft in Linux, especially if you're on a low spec system. But you have to learn how to use Linux. The best install for Linux was, and I can't remember now, but there is a Linux that I found that has all the game libraries in place. And so that's the one that I currently like to use if I'm going to learn Linux, but I haven't really spent enough time to really get in there and do that. Zorin OS. Linux Mint is also supposed to be pretty good, but I haven't verified. There's 2 game libraries you need with Linux to be able to run your games. But with Zorin OS, I was able to run Minecraft no problem at all. Kdenlive worked even better than it does on Windows. It works really good over on Linux. I was able to do a video. I actually have a video that I can show you a clip of that right now. I actually have that video kind of set aside. I don't know if I still have it on my computer or not. I might have moved it because I wasn't doing anything with it. But I can show it to you if I still have it. I don't see it. So I can't show you, I don't think. Yeah, it'd be dbcraft, probably. Give me a second. I'll see if I have it. I'll show you if I do. This is it. Well, hello, folks, and let me get rid of this special episode of. This is actually recorded on Linux, on Zorin OS, as you can see. And I even have, as you can see, I have some shaders working here. This was Minecraft 1.17, I believe. Nope. I was actually able to record and do all of this and even edit the video a little bit, although I hadn't done much with it, using Kdenlive. Oh, I hear villagers. And you can see I'm not having any performance issues at all. So that is one way in which you can help yourself. If you're having trouble running Minecraft, you can do it through on an old computer, like an old laptop, get into something like Zorin OS or Linux Mint and run it on Linux, and you should be able to do even better. And there's a lot of good tools for Linux for video editing and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, I think that is it for now. Thank you for anybody who did come in and watch the video. I don't believe there has been any viewers, and that's perfectly fine. Yep, no viewers. We'll leave this uploaded here at YouTube for you. If there's any questions you have, please be sure to comment and let me know. Hopefully, this will help enlighten you as to the various settings and things that you can use to do your workflow process for recording Minecraft and editing videos, and then uh, getting that content up into YouTube. Hopefully, this will get you started if that's a path that you want to try. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next live stream or video. I would like to do another Sunday stream next week, so we'll see what happens. But that will be the goal. And I want to get this subscription count from 132 to 200. So please help me to do that by subscribing. And that's it. I'll see you guys later.